The battle to overcome poor posture begins with joint health. When you begin losing the fight against gravity, the mature adult structure of your body is lost, and you begin reverting slowly back into the position that you're born into this world in, which is the position of a primary curve. That's that fetal position, which is shaped like a shrimp that everybody's familiar with. One of the things that happens as you go through this transformation in what I call posture prolapse is you lose the normal functionality of your joints. They don't move the way that they're supposed to. And so when you're trying to achieve normal posture and restore those secondary curves and those mature structures to your body, the first step is to restore normal functionality to your joints. Now, joints are really interesting structures. We're talking synovial joints here. These are joints like your elbow, your knee, your hip, your shoulder, and all the little individual facet joints of your spine that guide the motion for when you bend and twist your body. Synovial joints don't have a blood supply that brings in nutrients and flushes out waste products. So the health of your synovial joints is dictated by how they move. When a synovial joint moves, it secretes synovial fluid. Now this brings in nutrients to bathe and nourish the cartilage that lines these joints, and it also flushes out waste products. No movement means no nutrients and a buildup of waste products. So like I said, the first step to restoring awesome posture is restoring awesome movement to the individual joints of your body. Now today, I'm going to show you how to restore normal motion to your hip joint. Your hip is the second most mobile joint in your whole body. Only your shoulder moves more than your hip does. Now, like your shoulder, your hip is a ball and socket type joint, which means that within your pelvis, there's a cup-like structure called an acetabulum, and then the head of your femur or your leg bone fits right into that. Now, this allows for the hip to move forward and backward, inward and outward, and into internal and external rotation. Now, we have an epidemic in modern society of degenerative hip conditions because of underutilization of this joint. That's right. The joint isn't being moved nearly enough, and this leads to degeneration. Why? Because hips, like other synovial joints in the body, derive their supply of nutrients through motion. So when you have all these motions available, and the only thing that you're doing is moving at 90 degrees straight forward and backward from sitting to standing all day long, and through none of the other ranges that it's capable of, the joint is starved of nutrients, and you're building up waste products. So what I want to show you today is how to restore internal and external rotation to your hip joint. So let's get into this. The movement that we're going to be using to restore rotational motion to your hips is called the hip flip. Now, in order to perform the hip flip, you're going to sit on your rear end, your feet are going to be positioned out in front of you, your knees are bent to approximately 70 to 80 degrees. From here, you're going to take the outside of one knee and try and touch it to the ground while simultaneously bringing the inside of the opposite knee to the ground. Arms push out in front to counterbalance, and you twist the legs down like so. After hanging out there for a second or two, switch over to the other side. One side goes out, opposite side goes in, and back and forth like so, in a rotational motion, flipping the hips back and forth, hence the name hip flips. Now, if you have difficulty performing this motion, you have a couple of options. First, you can straighten your legs a little bit more, and this will decrease the range of motion and make it a lot easier. As that gets easier, you bend the knees more and more until you get to a very tight bend, and then it requires even more flexibility and more rotational motion at the hips. If you have so much difficulty with this that you can't do it from a sitting up position, there is an option to do the same motion lying on your back. Lie flat back, legs out in front of you, knees bent to approximately 90 degrees. One side goes out, opposite side goes in. Twisting like so, and like so. Removing the balance component from the motion. Back and forth, working on rotational motion at the hips. That's the hip flip, an awesome way to restore range of motion to your hip. And thank you for checking out this video. If someone you love is suffering with posture prolapse, be sure to share this information with them. And if you're looking for more information and tips on how to permanently fix your posture, get rid of those nagging functional issues that are preventing you from doing the things that you love or resolving chronic pain, be sure to check out painfixprotocol.com.